Hello, it's Elfe here, and we are back on the Pioneer server. So today we are taking a look at the next Hypogean hero, Saida, and first I will go through her abilities, and then I will give my initial impression of her playstyle and her strengths and weaknesses, and then after that I will show you some of the team ideas that I had when I was testing her, and then some clips of me actually using her and fighting against her. But first, let's get started with Saida's abilities. Saida's class is Rogue, and she deals magic damage and her range is 1, so she is a melee hero. Her ultimate ability is called Seed Siphon, and she starts with 600 energy, so this means that she can actually cast her first ultimate quite quickly. And that is kind of important because a lot of her gameplay revolves around her ultimate ability. So with her ultimate ability, she is able to teleport anywhere on the map. This ultimate has global range, and she will select one of the enemy heroes. I don't actually know how she prioritizes the targeting of this ability, but either way, she will teleport to that selected target and she will shortly stun them. And while this stun is happening, she also deals like a decent amount of damage to that selected hero, and she will drain some of their energy. Now, while all of this is happening, she is unaffected, so there can't be like any stuns happening on her to interrupt this ultimate from happening. And while she is doing this damage to the enemy hero, she also plants something called Drain Seed on that enemy, and that seed will stay on that enemy for the rest of the battle, so there is no way to get rid of it unless the enemy hero dies, then the seed will drop on the ground. And then what does those seeds do? Well, they keep on doing some damage to those enemy heroes every 2.5 seconds, and they will also reduce some of that enemy hero's energy every 2.5 seconds. Okay, so then her first normal ability as a passive and active part. The passive part is that all of the damage that Saida does with her normal attacks and skills will restore her HP equal to 100% of the damage dealt. So basically she has 100% life leech on her kit all of the time. And then if she's full HP when she's doing damage, the damage is converted into shield. So with this ability she can actually grow a huge shield potentially if no one is doing damage to her and she keeps on doing like damage to enemies. She can actually generate quite a big shield. So anything boosting her vitality stat, for example, is probably gonna be useful for her, because vitality increases the amount of healing and shielding a hero can receive, and it also affects self-healing effects. And then the active part of this ability is just a single target hit that does damage and also interrupts the enemy that she was hitting. So her second ability is called Revenant Sprout, and this is a passive ability. And this is where the drain seeds come into play. So whenever Saida is defeated, she can instead consume one of the drain seeds and revive back to the battle. Once she consumes the drain seed, she revives back with 10% of HP, but she also gets extra HP based on how long the drain seed has been active on the battlefield. So usually she will get like at least half of her HP back, but it can be up to like 90% of her HP. So I would say that oftentimes at least the first couple revives will be with her getting back to like full HP. Her hero focus ability, which is always a passive ability, grants her 20% damage reduction by default, and then she also gains 4% extra damage reduction based on the number of drain seeds that are on the battlefield, and this can go up to extra 20%. So in total, if she has a lot of seeds on the battlefield, she can have 40% damage reduction active on her. Then we have her Mythic Plus ability called Deepening Roots. And there is quite a lot going on with this meticulous ability, but basically it revolves around her ultimate ability and the drain seeds that she plants on enemies. All of the enemies affected by her drain seed will have their damage reduced by 35%. So that is a big damage reduction on the enemies who are affected by the Drain Seed. Then each time she casts her ultimate, it will make the Drain Seeds do damage faster. So by default, if you remember when we talked about the ultimate, the Drain Seeds will do damage to enemies every 2.5 seconds. But whenever she casts her ultimate, it will reduce the damage interval by 0.5 seconds. And the maximum reduction that this Meticulous ability can cause is 1.5 seconds. So once she casts her third ultimate, then the siege will start doing damage to enemies every second. And if that is not enough, there is actually a crazy extra thing that happens once she casts her third ultimate. She basically deals a lot of damage to all of the enemies instantly, and all of the enemies will be stunned for pretty much rest of the fight. The stun actually lasts something like 45 seconds, and the enemies are not able to act. So in other words, most of the time when she is able to cast her third ultimate, the battle will end. And then lastly, we have Saida's Enhanced Force ability, and this ability is very strong as well. When the battle starts, Saida will plant 2 Drain Seeds on nearby allies. Now, usually she can't plant these seeds on ally heroes. Like, the only way that she can normally plant these seeds is by doing her ultimate on the enemy heroes, but at the start of the battle she can do this on 2 of the allies. Now, these seeds won't actually like do damage to those allies or drain their energy, whereas normally if the seeds are on enemy heroes, they will keep doing damage and reduce their damage, etc. But this is basically just a way for her to start the fight with 2 Drain Seeds already active on the battlefield. So this means that those Drain Seeds will provide her some extra damage reduction from her Hero Focus ability. And also she can right away revive twice because there are 2 seeds on the battlefield. And if she has to revive, she will use one of those seeds to revive. So at the very least, she's always able to revive twice in a fight because she starts with these 2 seeds. Now there is also an added bonus with this ability, and that is that she will give those allies a big shield at the start of the fight. And it's actually like really big shield. So this ability is very good because if you think about it, she's able to grant 2 of her allies a big shield at the start of the fight. So this ability is basically instant and there is like no way to prevent this. So you can kind of use her even as like a support hero in that sense that she's able to give this shield to 2 of her allies at the start of the fight. Now here you can see a couple of screenshots of the shield that she can give. So in this first image I gave the shield to Damon and one of the twins, and you can see that it is a big shield. Now there is also one kind of like funny interaction with this thing, in that if you give the shield to Damon, Damon has the ability that whenever he gets shields, he will give part of that shield to the ally that he is buffing. So this way you can also, if you give the shield to Damon and Damon is, for example, buffing Saida, then Saida will also get part of the shield at the start of the fight. So you can see all of the 3 heroes will get like decent sized shield at the start of the fight. Now you can even buff this shield, of course, further by having vitality boosting effects. So vitality, once again, increases the amount of shielding and healing that heroes get. So in this second image, I tried to create as big shield as possible at the start of the fight. So I had like multiple heroes that give vitality. So we had twins and Faye. They both give vitality at the start of the fight. And my artifact was also giving some vitality. And then I was giving the shield with Saida to my Athalia, and I was giving the second shield with Saida to Damon. And then Damon was also buffing Athalia, so he was giving some extra shield back to Athalia, and you can see the huge shield that we were able to give to Athalia at the start of the fight, so it's more than doubles her effective health at the start of the fight. So obviously maybe Athalia is not the best option for this kind of shielding, but you can see that there is some really like fun stuff that you can do with her, and this can be like quite effective at protecting some key like otherwise squishy heroes. For example, Siren I think is good option for this kind of shield buffing, so you can give your Siren a huge shield at the start of a fight and then he can do his damage quite safely. That was her abilities. There is quite a lot of stuff and it might be a bit hard to grasp like all of the things that she is doing, but anyway, here are a couple strengths and weaknesses that I can think about her. So first of all, like we just talked about, the ability that she has to give these big shields to two allies at the start of a fight is really nice. You can protect some of your key heroes, or you can give Saida also some shielding if you combine Damon, for example, with her. Then she is kind of like hard to kill to some extent. Like she is not like super tanky in a sense. Like she is a rogue character, and those obviously don't have as much HP or as much defensive stats as normal tanks do, but she has the ability to revive multiple times. Even at the start of the fight she can revive at least twice, but then every time she ultimates she gains one additional revive, and then she has damage reduction coming from her hero focus ability, and then like we said, all of the seeds that are planted on enemies also reduces those enemies damage dealt. So once she's able to like plant multiple seeds on the enemies, they all have their damage reduced, and she gets healing all the time because those seeds will continuously do damage to those enemies. So if she gets kind of into this state that she has like multiple seeds around, she can be quite difficult to kill. Then she has the potential to kind of like end the fight after her third ultimate, and she can even solo enemy teams. Like even if she's kind of the last hero standing on your team and enemy team still has 4 heroes, for example, if she's able to cast her third ultimate, she will root all of those enemies and they can't do anything unless they have some way to kind of like dodge that ability. Yeah, so what are her weaknesses then? Well, she's a melee hero, and she doesn't really have like crowd control immunity in her kit. So sometimes if like there are a lot of like crowd control abilities, like Siren pulling her away from your team, or if there is like Kulu wall in the fight, she can't necessarily get past that wall. Like her only kind of movement skill is the ultimate ability, but if she is not able to cast the ultimate, then she can potentially be stuck behind the Kulu wall, for example. Some potentially like strong heroes against Saida are Cryonaya, because if Cryonaya is able to kill Saida during Cryonaya's ultimate, she won't be able to revive. The ultimate will just freeze her, and that is that. Another hero that is really good against Saida, at least based on my testing, is just Shemira. So once Shemira ultimate, those ghosts can just kill Saida quickly, and even if she revives, those ghosts will then, after she's done reviving, they will just swarm Saida once again, and she's able to like keep killing her multiple times, even if she has like multiple revives. So Shemira is definitely good way to deal with her, in my opinion. And then there is the Belran. If Belran is able to cast the second ascension, he will be immune to crowd control effects for the rest of the fight, and this means that he can potentially like fight against Saida in like even in like 1-to-1 situation. And then also Dunlinger can be good against her, I guess, because she wants to like plant those seeds on the enemies by casting her ultimate, but obviously to some extent Dunlinger can prevent that from happening by blocking all of the ultimates. At least he can like delay her casting like multiple ultimates quite a lot. So yeah, Darling Her can be good as well. Couple like general notes about her. Like we just said, a lot of her like kit revolves around her casting the ultimates and planting the seeds on the enemies. She starts with 600 energy, which means that if you combine her with Theodore, for example, Theodore can give her 350 energy, which is not enough for her to cast instant ultimate. Now, obviously, she can maybe cast her ultimate quite quickly because after getting the 350 energy from Theodore, she only needs like 50 more energy. But because she's melee hero, it's not guaranteed that she will get that couple extra energy like right away. She might have to like walk up to the enemies and then get the last energy that way. So instead of Theodore, you could technically use Rowan, for example, because Rowan gives, I think, 400 energy instead of 350. So that means that with the help of Rowan, you can kind of make her cast her ultimate instantly. Now it's a little bit annoying to use Rowan in combination with her, because it actually takes Rowan about like 2 seconds to give the energy to the hero, and the hero has to be close to Rowan to get the potion. But because Saida is a melee hero, it means that when the battle starts, she will start walking towards the enemies. So this can mean that within the 2 seconds that it takes for Rowan to give the potion, she can potentially walk out of the range of Rowan, and then she obviously won't get the potion. So if you want to use her in combination with Rowan for the instant ultimate, which can be quite effective, you kind of have to like block her in with your team so that she won't walk away from Rowan right away. The last way you can make her ultimate fast is Pandora. We'll talk her a bit more on like a separate video, but Pandora has the ability to also give one allied hero like 1000 energy after 4 seconds, which means that after 4 seconds she would be able to cast her first ultimate. So I think it's a little bit hard to say like how good she actually is, because her kit is kind of weird. But in general, I like her ability to give the shields to your allies, so you can kind of use her as like this support type of hero. And also the fact that she can like shield herself with the damage that she does, so you can do some fun stuff by buffing her vitality, etc. But at the same time, I kind of don't like the way that she plays. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that she's bad by any means, I just don't like her play style, because she kind of reminds me of Tassi in a sense that she keeps reviving like multiple times in a fight. It can be like up to like 6 times that you have to kill her, even if she's like the last hero surviving. And then if you let her ultimate third time, then she will like stun your whole team, and you just probably will lose the fight after that, unless you have like some very specific heroes that can survive that. So I don't like that kind of gameplay, because it is really hard sometimes to prevent the third ultimate from happening, even if it takes you like a couple seconds to kill basically everyone else except her. Then she can even sometimes like solo your team after that, because the way that kind of like energy gain works in this game, like you have probably seen this with Tassi as well, there is sometimes just no way to stop the enemy from casting the ultimate, because you gain energy when your hero gets hit. So let's say that she revives and all of your heroes like just keep hitting her, and she doesn't even get to do anything, but she will still gain energy because she's taking damage. Then she revives second time, then she might have enough energy to cast ultimate again because your heroes kept hitting her. She will cast her ultimate once again, and then she gains extra revive by casting that ultimate. So sometimes that can lead into a situation that she doesn't actually like do anything per se. You just keep killing her, but she gains energy all the time slowly, and then she gets her third ultimate in and basically just kills your whole team. I feel like that can lead into like quite frustrating situation for some player where you are like clearly winning the fight, but then there is no way kind of for you to potentially stop her from casting the final ultimate. And this situation that I kind of like described can be extra bad if you combine Saida with Pandora, because Pandora has the ability to fear all heroes on the battlefield every 10 seconds, even if she dies. So this can mean that you have to like somehow find a way to like kill Saida multiple times, while every 10 seconds your whole team is being feared by Pandora. So it can be quite frustrating situation, I would imagine, for some players. So the first two teams are kind of meant as Saida as the solo carry of the team, and the game plan is just to give her the first ultimate and then have just like a tanky team that can protect her long enough for her to cast the third ultimate, and then once she casts the third ultimate, you hopefully win, or that is kind of like the game plan of these teams. So you have Daemon, and then you have Saida. So you give the shield to Daemon at the start of the fight, and then Daemon also gives the shield back to Saida. And then you have someone to boost the first ultimate of Saida. So in the first team, you can use Theodore or Rowan, for example. Rowan is technically better, but Theodore can also be good. And then you have some heroes that help Saida to survive. For example, you can use twins, because twins give shielding and healing, little bit of shielding and healing to the hero that is placed in the link. And then they also give vitality. If you, like, for example, place only Saida in the link, she will get the vitality bonus from the link. And then just if the enemy team has like some strong ultimates, you can maybe use Lily May to block one of those ultimates. Or if the enemy team has Lily May, you can use something like Niru to block the Lily May's interruption, because obviously you want your Saida to be able to ultimate, because your whole like game plan is around letting your Saida to ultimate multiple times. So yeah, that is kind of like the first team. The second team is basically doing the same thing, but instead of using Roban or Theodore to get the first ultimate, you just use Pandora. And like we said, Pandora can be quite powerful because it means that you will get the first ultimate after 4 seconds. And then also, even if Pandora dies, she can keep like debuffing some of the enemies, and she can keep fearing everyone on the battlefield except the hero who was protected by Pandora, which in this case is Saida, so she's even immune to those fear effects. Yeah, and then once again we have Niru, so that if the enemy team has Lily May, Niru will block the Lily May's interruption, and Niru can also do some healing. Just in general, like doing some damage and healing. And then for the last spot I just had Scarlita, but it doesn't obviously have to be Scarlita, but Scarlita just to provide some shield for the team. And then we have a couple other team ideas where we are kind of using Saida more as like a shield provider, because like we said, she can provide a big shield at the start of a fight. And then she's kind of just there as a secondary win condition, so that if your main win condition dies, she can maybe still win the fight. So in the first team, Belran is the actual like the main carry of the team. The idea is just to get him to ascend fastly, and we can do that by giving Saida's shield to Belran so that he's shielded from some damage, so he's able to get to full HP faster. And then we also give the shield to Daemon, and then Daemon buffs Belran, so he gets like big shield at the start of fight. And then you also have something like Twin and Rowan healing Belran and giving him vitality. And then you have the added bonus that if you're using Rowan to heal Belran, you can also use Rowan to give energy to Saida so that she can like ultimate faster. And the second team, the idea is that you use Theodor in combination with Siren, and then you use Saida to give shield to your Siren so that your Siren is safer.
A victory! A victory!
Let's go harvest together.